When I told my family I'd quit my corporate job to start my own business, they didn't just doubt me, they laughed. Not a small, nervous laugh, but the kind of laughter people give when they think you're joking about something impossible. It was 2 years ago at Sunday dinner. I just handed in my resignation at a well-paying marketing firm. I was burned out and tired of making other people rich. I wanted something of my own, something meaningful. So, I told my parents and my older sister, Claire, that I was starting an online business. What kind of business? Dad asked, between bites of roast. I smiled. It's an online platform that helps local artisans sell handmade products directly to customers. No middlemen, fair prices, full transparency. Claire snorted. So, like Etsy, but smaller? Mom laughed softly. Honey, you could have done that as a hobby. You left a stable job for that. Dad shook his head. Son, you're 30. This isn't the time to experiment. You should be saving for a house, not playing shop on the internet. The rest of dinner was awkward. They weren't trying to be cruel, but their disbelief hit hard. I left early, telling them they'd understand one day. That one day came 2 years later. In those 2 years, I worked like a man possessed. I lived frugally, coding the website myself, learning SEO, shipping orders from my small apartment. There were months when I couldn't even afford to order takeout, but I didn't quit. Slowly, artisans began to join. Then local shops. Then small brands. By the second year, we'd expanded into 4 countries, with thousands of creators selling their products. I called the company Handbridge, a name that symbolized connection through craft. And then, one afternoon, I got the email that changed everything. A major investment firm wanted to acquire a 40% stake in Handbridge, valuing the company at $6.2 million. I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I called Mom and told her I'd come for dinner. The whole family, I said. I've got news. That Sunday felt almost nostalgic. The same house, the same dining table, the same roast chicken smell filling the air. When I arrived, Claire was already there, bragging about her promotion at the bank. Mom was setting the table, Dad reading the newspaper. Well, look who's here, Claire said teasingly. How's your little website doing? I smiled, pulling out a chair. Actually, it's going great. Oh yeah, Dad said, not looking up. Got a few customers now? More than a few, I said. They exchanged looks, the kind parents do when they're politely humoring you. Dinner went on with casual conversation. Claire talking about her new car, Mom discussing recipes, Dad asking about stock prices. They didn't ask much about my business until halfway through the meal, when Mom said, So, sweetie, are you still selling those little craft things online? I leaned back and smiled. Sort of. Actually, we're selling over 200,000 handmade items every month now. Claire nearly choked on her drink. What? Dad finally looked up. 200,000. You're joking. Nope. We just signed an international partnership deal. We've got warehouses in New York, Toronto, and Dublin. They stared at me, processing my words. Mom frowned, half skeptical. Wait, so how much is your company worth now? I hesitated, letting the silence stretch a moment before I said it. About 6 million. Forks froze mid-air. Claire's jaw dropped. Dad blinked. 6 million what? Dollars, I said casually. We just got an offer from an investment group this week. I'm not selling though. Not yet. For the first time in years, the table was completely silent. Then Claire let out a nervous laugh. You're serious? I nodded. Very. Dad leaned back in his chair, rubbing his chin. Well, I'll be damned. Mom covered her mouth, eyes wide. Honey, that's incredible. I smiled gently. Thank you. I just wish you'd believed in me before there was a number attached to it. They all looked guilty, and for a long moment, no one spoke. Then Mom reached over and took my hand. We're proud of you, she said quietly. We really are. We just didn't understand your vision. I nodded. I know. Most people don't, until they see it working. Claire leaned forward, her voice soft. I'm sorry I made fun of you. Guess I underestimated you. I smiled. That's okay. You weren't the only one. After dinner, Dad walked me to the door. He looked at me with a mix of pride and humility I'd never seen before. You proved us wrong, he said. But more than that, you proved yourself right. That's harder. I drove home that night with snow falling softly against the windshield, thinking about how success changes the way people listen. They had laughed when I started. Now they listened in silence. But the truth was, their approval didn't define me anymore. It never had. What mattered was that I had built something from nothing, and the boy they once doubted had turned into a man who didn't need to say, "I told you so," because the results had already said it for me.